what makes it possible for these fintech startups and companies to be what they are, to do things in a better way than the traditional players who have been around for so many years, who have so much experience and so many financial resources to do things, better than them. But yet these fintech startups and companies are doing things in a much better way. There are two broad categories or things that make it possible or that enable fintech startups to be better than the traditional players. And these are technology and the data. If technology is the engine, then we can say that data is the petrol for fintech companies. Why is that so? Well, because you can have the technology or the engine, but if you don't have the petrol to run it, then it's useless. So for example, when we talk about wearables and drones, these are the devices that allow you to collect, the data. But if you don't know how to use that data and how to analyze it and how to extract useful information from it, then it's not really of much use. So here I've listed down some of the major technologies that enable fintech startups to do the job more efficiently than those companies or financial institutions that do not use the technology. First, and perhaps the most important, is internet. Without internet, most of these things would not be possible. Because remember, when we talk about fintechs, we're talking about doing things digitally. And you need that internet connection in order to do anything digitally. An important technology or device is also mobile or smartphones. Perhaps more smartphones than mobiles, but at some point in time, mobile phones, the traditional ones, were also very important. And in some parts of the world, they're actually very important because there are a lot of poor and less developed countries where smartphones are not widely used. And that's why these financial services were actually developed around mobile phones. We'll see, the example of M-Pesa in Kenya. So these are also very important because now, obviously, from our smartphones, we can access almost all financial services and products that are available digitally. Second important technology is blockchain. Cryptocurrency is actually a product of this blockchain, or it's a product that runs on the blockchain. So blockchain is the underlying technology. And this is perhaps one of the most revolutionizing technologies in the financial arena. Why? We will see that later when we talk about blockchain, because it simply has huge potential. Its potential hasn't really been used to the maximum yet. It is yet to develop fully, but it is developing, and not only in the financial services industry, but in other industries as well. It simply has a huge potential, and it has the capacity to revolutionize the financial services industry. The next technology is machine learning and artificial intelligence. For example, when we talk about robo-advisors, then it is through machine learning and artificial intelligence that these robo-advisors are able to offer the same services like as humans are, but in a more efficient way. And of course, this is also the area where things are still improving every day, and you might be even a user of certain artificial intelligence products. The next important, so to say, technology is actually not a technology, but it's the ecosystem which is very well connected that enables all these things. So for example, when we talk about digital wallets, they actually run on the railways of the traditional banks. But being able to connect to that banking system and run on it is something that is obviously very useful, and we actually are reaping the benefits of that. So this connectedness, so to say, of the entire ecosystem is something that helps fintech companies provide products and services that are very competitive, and as I said, a lot of times much better than what traditional financial institutions can offer. Next important technology is wearables and drones. Wearables like, for example, your watches that you might have, like Apple Watch or Samsung Watch, that enable you to track, for example, your physical activity, like walking or running and, other exercises. Why is this important? Well, as I said earlier, that data that is collected, if you know how to use it, or if there's a company that knows how to use it, then products and services can actually be created around this. And that's what insurtech companies are doing. It's exactly that. Think about, for example, about health insurance. Someone who is physically active is logically also someone who is expected to have uh, better health than someone who is inactive. So through that data that is collected through your wearables, insurance companies know how active or inactive you are and how the insurance premium should be priced. Similarly, when we talk about drones, they are useful, for example, particularly for insurance companies. Think about, for example, God forbid, getting into a car accident and in the middle of, for example, the peak hours in Kuala Lumpur when traffic jam can be really bad. So if your insurance company wants to come to the place where the accident happened to take photos to know how much to pay out for the accident, it might take them hours because of the traffic jam and everything, or because they're far away. But with these drones, they can simply send the drones to the place where the accident happened, take photos or even videos, and then analyze it from there digitally back in the office and process it actually a lot faster. So this obviously enables insurtech companies to do things that traditional insurance companies cannot do because they don't operate these technologies in the first place. The next technology is robotic process automation. Actually, these are not robots. These are simply, softwares that are installed in companies to process certain tasks and functions which are repetitive in nature. So they can be programmed so that, things are automatically done. For example, a lot of things when it comes to accounting can be automated, and this is where RPA is used and deployed a lot of times. And the last, it's not actually technology, it's rather, the analytical tools that are available out there, and the computing power that is technology as well, that allows experts to collect the data and provide advanced analytics, and based on this analytics, come up with data-driven decisions. What that means is that when you have a lot of data, for example, about anyone, let's say those companies that want to collect data about someone who wants to buy health insurance, then having this data allows you to better price the premium, for instance, but it also helps you to understand the habits and behavior of your consumers. And then even if a product or service doesn't exist, driven by this data, we actually easily come up with something that could be useful for your customers.